Hey, I'm your local theatre kid, and a bibliography can be found in the pinned comment. Howdy y'all, welcome back to my level 3 BTEC in Performing Arts series. My name is Uncle Rick, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we'll be looking at the practitioner Steven Berkoff. He was born on 3rd of August 1937 in Stepney, London. He stayed in London for his training at Webber Douglas Academy, which is one of the leading drama schools in Britain that used to be a singing school. He then studied movement at
l'École internationale de théâtre de Jacques Locoq,
Jacques Lecoq's International Theatre School,
in Paris. Influences and inspirations. He was influenced by Greek theatre, Japanese novel kabuki, William Shakespeare, East End music hall, his Jewish heritage, Bertolt Brecht, Antonin Artaud, Cassidy Stanislavski, and Lecoq. Japanese novels are the classical dance drama company. Japanese kabuki is a popular drama with singing and dancing performed in a highly stylized manner. He was also inspired by authors Franz Kafka and Edgar Allan Poe. Both of these creators have writing styles that lend themselves to the genre of horror. For example, a part of Kafka's writing style is
existentialism
and surrealism. Additionally, Poe's writing style has highly detailed imagery and is often ballad-like with cadence and rhythm. These inspirations paint a good picture of why his style is the way it is. For instance, it is non-naturalistic and political, showing the ugliness and grotesque side of society. This shows his inspiration of Brecht because his theatre would give an audience an essential and intense version of reality. He forced the audience into critical thinking about politics and society. It would wake up the audience. This also shows the theatre of quality is one of his inspirations. This is because of the exaggerated movement his theatre needs to show the disgusting side of the world. When performing in this style, you need to remember to be ugly and emphasize your movement and facial expression to suit. That shouldn't be too hard, should it? Being outside your comfort zone is essential to develop as a performer, especially in Berkoff's theatre. This style is most challenging for me because I'm not very expressive in my body language and facial expressions. I had to go to extremes with my movement and use muscles I don't consciously use in my day-to-day life. Exaggerated movement is also used in mimes, which is accompanied by sound effects made by the actor. If there are words, they are important to the mime and are few and far between. Or gibberish is used with a tone and pitch explaining what is happening. The lack of speech shows the performer's assumption that the audience is intelligent, which is what Brecht teaches and assumes when he writes. A better way to show that he is inspired by Brecht would be his use of minimalistic set. This is to show that everything on stage is there for a reason. No prop or set is put on stage willy-nilly. This is creative because restrictions cause ingenuity.
Media knows that there are certain rules they have to abide by to get a certain certificate rating or to be allowed to be broadcast. And in turn, they have found ways to actually use censorship way more creatively than if they were uncensored.
Giving a purpose for everything prevents the performer from embodying the character. Simple names of characters in Berkoff's work is similar to Brecht's. For instance, in East, two characters are called Mum and Dad. The Mum in the Digital Theatre Plus version is played by a man, which distances the audience from that character, preventing a connection. Vocal and physical chorus is used in Brecht's, Artaud's and Berkoff's work. A way kabuki influences him is their movement is considered to be elegant, grand, and very melodramatic in style. Secondly, it is like a slow dance. Thirdly, a technique called mi is used, where the actor strikes a pose and holds it for a while. An example of this is in The Trial, where the protagonist goes to punch his lawyer. He stops himself, and they are frozen in a compromising position for a few awkward seconds. Brecht and Berkoff's theatre is inspired by Stanislavski in the fact that they oppose it. However, actors can use his system to help with portraying their characters in these styles. In Berkoff's theatre, you can use Stanislavski's objectives' names and emotion memory to exaggerate your movement. I have done this in my performance of The Trial. I needed to know what my character was getting out of the scene, and with that I knew how to exaggerate my movement and voice to suit. Furthermore, I scratched my arms as they were itching. I decided to exaggerate that, as my character was scared of the other characters. In order to remember to portray my character as scared, I thought of my classmate as my dad, towering over me and mentally abusing me. Before I continue, I'd just like to reiterate something. Imagining yourself in an event where you feel scared, anxious, worried, or depressed can be dramatic, and that is why you need to be in a comfortable and open position to take on the challenging world of Stanislavski's theatre. A lot of his plays are adaptations of Kafka's novels and novellas. For example, the trial, metamorphosis, the judgment, and knock at the manor gate. Metamorphosis' original prologue consisted of a collection of Kafka's minor writings. The trial follows a man who has been arrested for something and doesn't know what. He tries to find out, and the higher up he gets, the more confusing and corrupt it gets. This man is Joseph K. A scene which explains what Berkoff's theatre is like is the Mr. Hold scene, where K hires a lawyer. This lawyer is well versed in the system and its corruption, and explains it to K. He is complicit, so Berkoff made him gluttonous. To include exaggeration, he focused on this objective. He made the performer act out unpredictable and powerful bowel movements for a good 5 minutes of 2 pages during a 14-minute scene. 1 page is approximately 1 minute, unless you're Berkoff. Then it's 1 page is 2.5 minutes. Show don't tell is something that I'm working on with my performance. This scene is a brilliant way of showing a stereotypical rich and successful person without being explicit. This means that Berkoff sways from Brecht in the fact that Brecht would write I am XYZ, which is explicit and ruins the flow of the performance. Berkoff gives the performer time to show the audience the character, rather than stepping out and saying, I'm a pompous lawyer. I am unwell, lazy, and complicit to the corruption of the judicial system. I'd argue that the 5 minutes of shitting ruins the flow of the performance too. This type of exaggerated movement can be scary, which reflects on the grotesque side of society. To show the real and hidden parts of society, Berkoff chooses to adapt horror novels and novellas. A big part of horrors is the shock factor. A modern-day example of this would be video games such as Five Nights at Freddy's and Olaf Damas, which have jump scares. However, jump scares, after a while, become anticipated, kind of like Berkoffian performances. The art of the jump scare in Berkoff's theatre is that the anticipation gets demolished by teasing or doing it slightly different. For instance, after the first farting fit, he is lifted to his feet. After the last one, he is lifted to his chair. Shock factor is also used in the East, with vulgar language being used frequently in the first scene. This is entwined with the Shakespearean idiom they speak in. The pattern they speak in suggests they swear a lot, if the repetitive profanity wasn't evident enough. This shows the message of the play showing the dark side of East London, where Berkoff grew up. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure have. Me too, y'all. Thanks for giving me so much screen time in an episode of my series. Like, share and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. See y'all later.